Welcome back, everybody, to the Huddle Up podcast presented by Cooper Paint, Striping, and Sealing. I got that one down, DG, finally. And the Jeremy Hodge Auto Group. We are back. I'm back. We took a little break. I had some vacation, but we're back. We got man. I'm excited for this one. It's a good episode. But my co-host David Glidden, what's going on, man? How's everything going?
What's up, bro? I'm good, man. I'd be better if I was coming back from where you just came from. Was it good? Good vacation?
Yeah, I had a good time. Obviously, we went to a wedding in Athens, right off the coast of Greece, right there, and then come back through Rome for a couple of days. Toured a little bit of seen the sights, the Colosseum, the St. Peter's Basilica, all that good stuff. The Vatican. Had a good time. Enjoyed some good Italian food, but it's good to be back. Off of a 10-hour flight. That's kind of a long one, but hey, without further ado, let's introduce the man in the middle tonight.
Yeah,
I'll let you take it.
for sure, man, for sure. Well, uh, people watching, man, you can see Brennan Presley, an all-time great, if not the all-time great receiver. That's up for debate. There's been a lot of great ones at Oklahoma State for sure, but this guy, man, is special, man, and not only a great football player, but an elite human being, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Had the pleasure of being around this guy for a couple years. In the building with him, but also got to recruit him a little bit along the lines way back when he was a pup back at Bigsby High School. So without further ado, man, BP, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
So talk to us, man. What's life like right now? Where you at? You're in LA. Explain to us, man. What's going on with you?
I'm in LA right now, currently in the team hotel where they got us, stationed.
Team hotel for who?
Team hotel for the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, with the Rams.
And
Y'all
right
been
now,
y'all been in the headlines lately.
yeah, I guess
Making some moves.
we definitely cooked something up. I will say that. Definitely cooked something up.
No doubt.
To say the least, man.
In the middle of OTAs, so which is for most people who don't really know, OTAs is kind of like spring ball for the NFL. No pads, but be able to get different phases in. So now we're in the 11 on 11 football phase. So right now it's the best phase to be in because you actually get to play football. So getting out there, getting those reps, along with the addition that you guys just mentioned.
So, Win, talk to us this. People have seen the headlines, obviously, Myles Garrett on the team, but we're not here for that, man. We're here to look at you and talk about you and your highlights and get the conversation going, kind of revolved around you, obviously. So, with you mentioned you're in the middle of OTAs right now. You guys got 11 on 11 going. How long have OTAs been going? How long do they last? And give us a little kind of what's your day-to-day like right now?
The OTAs have been going on for about a couple weeks, and we'll end OTAs like next week. But there's like phase. You have the phase one where you can kind of just work out, and that's a couple weeks, and then phase two is another like 2 weeks where you can be on the field with the coaches and do individual routes on air and stuff like that, but you can't go against the defense. So that's basically like a month and a week of it. And now like these last 4 or 5 weeks where like we did a couple weeks of like 7 on, and we did now this week we started 11 on 11. We do another week of 11 on 11, and the day to day is kind of just waking up. We wake up about 6:30, get in the facility around 7, eat breakfast, do all your warming up treatment routines, and then you have meetings at like 8. Then you meet and then lift, and then after you lift, you go out to practice. You go out to practice for a couple hours, and then you eat, and then we watch the practice in the hotel and stuff, and then fix everything. You talk about the practices from the day before on the day after, and so that's kind of how most days go.
I got you. Okay, so hold on. We kind of lost you. Can you see us real quick?
I can see you. I can't see
Okay.
Drew.
You. Oh, okay. So we got a little bit of a technical difficulty. That's okay. I can hear you just fine. We'll see if we can get that fixed in the meantime. But so it's essentially it's a full day. but really for the most part for you, man, it's not really a full day, right? So you mentioned today. What time did you finish up today? Let's say.
Today practice ends at about. It probably ended about like 2:15. It's like
Okay.
2-ish.
And then take me to a regular day in season. What does that look like for you? Like those hours on a regular day, a full practice day of the week. So I don't know, what is that for y'all? Like a Wednesday or something, right?
Yeah.
What is that like from the time you wake up to the time you go to the bed? Like I assume that's a little bit longer day at that time.
Oh yeah, that's kind of like waking up at about 6:15, getting in the facility about like 6:45. That's when you're really getting your breakfast and getting everything prepped like for the day. And then meetings start about like 7:30. Sometimes they start about 8. And for me, I am someone that like when I sit down, I have a hard time just sitting down and not moving. So for me, I learned very quickly, take some sunflower seeds, take some gum, drink some water, do whatever you have to do in order to just like keep the brain. Because the meetings are long. Like you're essentially meeting from about the team meeting will be at 8, and then you have like your offensive meetings from like let's say like 8:30 to like 10:15, and then you might have like a small walkthrough like in there, and then like you'll go and lift, and you come back and you have more meetings, and then you have a special teams meeting, and then you finally eat lunch at about like 1:15 ish. You go outside, you have like a small walkthrough from let's say like 1:35 to about like 2:15, and then you finally get ready for practice. Practice from about like 3 to 5. I'm probably getting the times mixed up, but you're really practicing for a couple of hours. But you're essentially meeting from like 8 to 1 on a day,
Yeah.
on a Wednesday or a Thursday, and then you have like a 2-hour practice behind that stuff. And then afterwards, of course, it's a lot of days. So recovery, whether it's sauna, cold tub, hot tub, BFR, compression boots, whatever you want to call it. And you're probably leaving the facility about 5:30, and then after that, you're going home, watching all the film, all the notes that they take you, going over that, because they're gonna block up different days as far as this day we're gonna focus on this situation, this day we're gonna focus on this day we're gonna focus on this. So it's really up to you to go home and basically study that like it's homework and put that in the brain file. All right, the next day I got to put more information in. So if you're not on top of your notes and everything, by the time the game comes, you're gonna way behind.
Man, it's a full-time gig, huh?
Yeah. Oh, I'm telling you, you get home. I thought I was done studying homework and all that stuff. Now this is a lot better because I'm studying football, but you're still, the learning never stops. I'll say that.
I hear you on that, man. It is. It's people think it's all glitz and glamour and all the lights and the fashion and you're famous and the whole thing, but it's a different world really up there in the sense that it really is a full-time job and not everybody's getting the same paycheck as Myles Garrett or
No.
Matthew Stafford, right? And guys are having to fight for their lives up there, if you will, is one way to put it. So that's pretty cool for you to walk us through that, man, the day to day, because a lot of people don't realize. They probably just think you show up, practice, watch a little film, bada bing, bada boom. I go make plays on Sundays, and obviously for everybody, that's not the case. That's not the way it works. So, hey, we're gonna do something real quick. We're gonna try to solve this little technical difficulty we're having here, BP. So we're gonna give us a pause, and we'll try to pick back up here in just a second.
All right.
We'll hop off and then hop right back on real quick and see if we can get this fixed, and we'll pick this thing up right where we left off. Right.
All right.
All right.
Hold on 1 second. We are waiting for both of them to come back in. We're having a little camera technical difficulties, so y'all hang tight for a second, and we'll try to get them back. just a second. There we go. I don't know what the heck was going on. He'll be back in just a second.
All right.
So you went dark mode on us. So
Okay, I don't know, something like it cut out.
it's all good. Yeah, that was weird. Sometimes it happens. It's technology. It's live TV here, so we got it going. But just to go off of that point about the NFL, and you said the studying and everything like that. Take us back to when you first started football, and then kind of the evolution of your career as it's progressed. Obviously, the speed of the game, everything like that. Let's go back to like DG said, or in the onset. You're from Bixby Spartan. That kind of got you prepared a little bit, obviously, especially for college and everything like that. But talk to us about your early days in high school football and Bixby and the perception that everybody has, which is Bixby is the creme de la creme of high school football in Oklahoma. But talk to us about how Bixby and how Coach Montgomery and those guys, how they prepared you for Oklahoma State, and then now what you're doing in the NFL.
I will correct you and say Bixby is the creme de la creme of Oklahoma high school.
Chill. There you go.
And like knowing where I am now and seeing like how much stuff they did in high school, it really translates because I mean the main thing that they kind of teach and like really harp on you is really just like discipline. As far as like when you get there, the structure that they have is amazing, and it's not if you're a great player, they're going to treat you one way or the other. Like they really hold everybody else to the same standard. And they kind of embrace that fact of like the best players will be the best people and the best leaders like on the team. And they kind of give them that, I don't want to say power, but they give them that responsibility to hold everybody else accountable and to hold it to, because high school, like, they don't cut anybody in high school. Especially Bixby, I think they had like 140 people on the team. If you want to come out and you want to play on the team, they let you come out because they know what a privilege it is like to play high school football. So did it happen again?
Yep.
I don't know. BP, is your connection okay?
Yeah, I mean, I was on the Wi-Fi, and then it happened one time, and I took it off. So I'm not on it right now. I might get back on it.
I can hear you now. I just can't see you.
Okay. Hey, third time or second time's a charm. We'll try that again. Well, I'm gonna kick you out and you come back in.
No.
All right.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. We'll get him back. No, that's good stuff though. We'll
I have to. I always got to give BP crap because obviously Bigsby being what they are now. Shout out to Coach Montgomery and those guys and his staff, Coach Snyder now. Some of the things they're doing and the consistency that they're winning with and the rings that they have, man, is so impressive. Hey, there we go. Yeah, I got to make sure. Uh-oh. You hear that?
Yeah, a little crunchy.
I got to make sure I don't give BP and those guys too much credit. I can't let them hear that. But obviously got all the respect in the world for Bigsby and what they do. But I always got to remind them that when we went up there, my senior year of high school, Bigsby was their first year up at 6A. That was a rough time for the Bigsby Spartans that night. That's all I got to say. So, but ever since then, I think those first couple of years in 6A, they adjusted, and then they've been winning rings ever since then. So hopefully we can get BP back on here, get him connected right. And
can you see me, hear me?
We can hear you. We just can't see you.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna get on the computer because I'm on my phone.
Okay.
So.
All right. Third time's a charm.
Wasn't it?
Get him back. Was
it this season? It was either this season or last season that Bigsby was ranked the number 1 team in the country.
I don't know. It's hard. It's by some polls they were, but not like the major
Well, I don't care what poll it is, by any poll, if you're ranked the number one team in high school football with all the teams that are out there, and especially the private ones that can recruit and do the whole thing, like,
That is true.
I mean, even if you're in the top 5, top 10, the fact that, man, those guys are doing that, it's impressive. So,
No doubt. I have some thoughts on the rankings for high school football. Well, we may leave that for another episode because
okay.
I would like to see more. And I'll just say this: I would like to see more out of state, non-district, games. I think that would be good for high school football. And I think we've seen some of these other schools schedule some of them, and we got our guy back. And then live right here. But no, we were just talking about how high schools even are now scheduling non-district games against out-of-state schools. And so I was just telling DG that I'd like to see more of that. Like, for example, I think South Lake Carroll and Jinx are playing this year at the Cotton Bowl. I think that is crazy. And there's some other schools that are, obviously California schools are doing it, Florida schools are doing it, stuff like that. And so would love to see more of that going on. But I know with what Bixby's doing, and I know they're trying to schedule some stuff like that. But back into your time at Bixby with Coach Montgomery and those guys, what were some of those things that you were talking about that helped you prepare for the next level?
Like they would have off the field, they would have like leadership groups where it's like you have leadership meetings like early in the mornings where we come together and like, okay, and like for my senior year, it was like, okay, seniors meet. What do we want this team to look like, and how are we going to help this team like reach their goals? Like, what are some things that whether it's commitment or it's attacking adversity, like what's something that we can identify with this certain team that can help us. And they've been doing that since I left, and so that's been a thing where it's like you give the seniors ownership to like take control of those teams and like, hey, this is your team, this is your last year. Things like that. And then also like the weight room, I think that's kind of like an underrated piece of like building blocks, because like, that's the discipline. That's the, commitment part of just like being in the weight room with your like, your friends, your teammates, and sacrificing every single day, just like little things like that. And then even on the field, it's almost like day and night as far as like concepts and stuff that like going from middle school to like high school, and now it's like plays actually like coming together and seeing it work together. It's like night and day. So when I went to OSU, it was kind of a little bit easier for me to understand, like not understanding plays, but understanding like concepts and like why things are the way that they are.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. And I don't know if you know too much about. I was a high school football coach for 15 years. I got out. I'm doing real estate property management, but I know some of those guys over there at Bixby. I know Coach Flowers really well. Some of those guys, and I know that how you guys are prepared is like nothing else that I've seen from some. You guys are ready for every situation, every scenario, everything that no rock is unturned. And it's just, I don't think a lot of people understand. They only see the winning by, certain amount of numbers, the state championships, the winning, the Friday nights. They don't see the Monday through Friday grind that you guys go through and how you prepare. And I think that's one of the biggest things that sets Bixby apart is, I'm not saying that other teams don't prepare, but I don't know. I've never seen teams like some of the Bixby teams that I've watched prepare the way that you guys have.
Oh yeah, some of the things that we did in high school, I even tried to get up at OSU. Now it is, but like Bixby, for example, we're able to call our own run game like screens.
Yep.
And I didn't know that other high schools didn't do that.
Yep.
Like so they, if we get a certain look on a run game, we can give the quarterback like hey, this, that, whatever. He can know it. Sometimes he just snaps it and he throws it, and you have to be ready for it. But I didn't know that like other schools are like, we would never let our players go out there and like do that.
No, and that's coming from a coordinator that's done it at other schools. Is for me, I'm like, I'm letting my quarterback maybe have a little bit of leash, but I'm dang sure not letting everybody else, kind of. No, you're not calling it, whatever it is. It's but that's a testament to you guys as players and as coaches having that relationship to be able to say, hey, we can do this because we've prepared. We've worked so hard to do this, and it's almost like second nature for you guys, like you're talking about. And I'm glad you brought that up because I don't think a lot of people understand some of the nuances and everything. And then now, obviously, the nuances of a Sean McVay offense, who you're getting familiar with, has kind of prepared you for that. So
I mean, that's like level 700. That's it's like I feel like I'm earning my PhD in football right now.
You are. That's legit. That's exactly what you're doing. That's exactly what you're doing.
I mean, even like high school, I'm saying like that made me, because most of the time when you're out there and you get told, hey, I'm running a slant, I'm running a hitch, I'm running this, you just go out there and you blindly have to run it. But now when the coach is like, hey, even if we call a run and there's, space where you could throw a bubble, there's space where you can throw a hitch, there's space where you can, call this. Now you're going to be looking at the game in a different way. You're going to be like, hey, how can I get the ball? But it forces you to look up and like see the shell and see the coverage, see what the defense is doing. It forces you to play with your eyes up. So when I got to college, the college game is a lot faster, and they are a lot smarter. And that's honestly the only difference between the levels is, I mean, high school and college, yes, the athletes are a lot better and like different. But as far as processing, that's the biggest difference from high school to college to the NFL. Because the way that I think about it, essentially, the NFL is grouped up of the best people in college just from their school. And the only difference is like we all know people that we play with that are just freak athletes that are really fast, really strong, really big. But the only difference is their processing of like the speed of the game may not have been there. And that's the only difference in the NFL. If you're split a little bit off, they can tell. If you line up in a certain way or a certain split, or, if you do a certain release off the line, oh, he only does this release on this route. He's trying to get over here. He has to take this. So their processing of the game is just super, super fast, and they can do it like on the fly, and sometimes with like no coaching, and they do it with instinct. And so that's really the biggest difference and separated to me as far as like high school to college to the NFL.
Yeah, which is a big deal, right? Which is a big deal. It's like when people don't realize, like when you just said like getting a PhD in the game of football, like people think again, you go out there and you just run a slant or you just run a hitch in the O line. Like what's the classic line from even to NFL games, right? What do people say in the stands? Block somebody, whatever that looks like, right? So it's so much more than that, and the thought and the thought alone that goes into the plays that are written down on paper.
Yeah.
Right. But then let alone, I say paper, Visio, technology, computer, whatever you want to say, wherever the plays are diagrammed, that's just the beginning of it. That has nothing to do with the audibles, the adjustments of routes from the time the ball is snapped, all those kind of things that go along with it. So it's cool to hear you say that, man, because I hope there's some high school kids looking out there that think they're about to go play big time college ball, play at the next level. And I hope they do, but I hope they realize what it takes. That's some of the things I still hear to this day from guys, no matter how big or how small the high school is. They all think they're going to go play at the next level, and it's simply based on their talent. They don't got to do the extra stuff. And it's simply off their God-given athletic ability. And it's just not the case. When you separate yourself, it's everything you said. And I'll say this now, thinking about that, to brag on you for a second. People would ask me about you at times, and still do to this day, in conversation about you, about what was the best thing about you. And I always say there's two things, and I don't know which one comes first. is that you were tough and that you were smart. And both of those at an elite level. I'll never even forget NFL coaches, scouts, asking me that question, the best things about you. And I would tell them those two things right there, because everybody's talented up there. But there's certain things that separate you. And to me, those were the two things that separated you. The amount of hits that I saw you take and just bounce right back up off the turf and be the first guy up before the guy that hit you would even bounce up. That's a unique quality. But obviously then the mental aspect of the game and the way to process all the things that you're talking about, man, that's a gift. That's for sure. You had an ability for that, and it was just came down to how much you cared too.
That became a mindset. I'd say that at least the toughness part early on, because
when you are the size that we are, you know, I realized even in high school, like if you are having a good game or if they do recognize you as a good player and you get on the field, 95% of everybody's going to be bigger than you. And so I noticed in high school, or really like, even like younger on, people our size, they want to take kill shots. They're not going to wrap you up. They're not going to say, hey, let me work on form tackling. They're going to see this little guy running and just think, hey, I have a clear shot to go and knock him out. And so I realized that, like, their whole goal is just to knock you out and just to, like, put fear in you. And so I'm like, okay. And my dad told me this too. He'd be like, if you can, like, if they hit you and you, like, are on the ground, that's what they want to see. They want to see you, like, basically give up. If you pop up, now that just kind of defeats like what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
And so like my dad, he would always tell me, get up, like get up. Because I'd play football in the yard with like, my brothers and stuff. And if you get hurt, he'd say, get up. Because if you stay down, that's giving the defense power. That's giving them.
You had that voice in your head every time, right?
Get up, get up.
Get up.
No matter how bad it hurts.
That's great, man.
I've always told the trainers and all this, I said, look, if I'm down, something is actually wrong. If I stay down, something is actually wrong.
Yeah.
But it's like when you hit, it's kind of like in boxing. If you give somebody your hardest punch, you're like, this is gonna knock them out, and it doesn't. And they're coming back and they're like, hey, what else you got? Now you're kind of scared. Now you're gonna attack the game like a different way. So my thing is just basically like showing people like, hey, I'm not gonna just like lay down. You might get a good shot on me. Yes, it might be a good shot. But I'm going to get up, I'm going to play through whatever and stuff, and, like, I'm going to finish the game.
And that's big time, man.
That's a mic drop right there.
Yeah.
And
see
the smart part, I mean, that comes from being undersized too. Like, when you're not big, fast, and strong, like, you need some advantages that, like, work, like, in your favor. And to me, I would have these talks with like David even when I got there because he would tell me all the time that like if he knew half the stuff that he knew when he was coaching, then he would have been a way better player when
for sure
he was playing. And like just the simple things about as far as like how I think you talked about like run like how the D linemen when their gaps, how that influences like the back end of coverages. And like how we talked about that, and he tried to teach you about them being in the gap and an eye technique and all this stuff. Like there's so many parts of the game where you're just like you have no idea.
Yeah.
And for me, it's kind of like trying to figure that stuff out, and that's the process. It's always been for me. It's like how much information can I gain, and like I said, I'm with the smartest coach I've probably ever been around that has seen more ball, been around people. So when he talks, I'm listening. I'm listening, I'm writing down. What does he know? I'm also with Matthew Stafford, Devontae Adams. Like, it's just football knowledge all around me. So for me, I'd be stupid not to try to pick their brains and, like, gain information. Because, like I said, with the size, you have to have some other capabilities as far as, like, before the snap, I'm going to have this plan or this plan, and then how I'm going to react to it.
Yep. That's yeah, man, that's good stuff that you just said. The people that you're listening off that you're around, man, and soaking up that information, and how one day when it's all done for you and you're going to be the one passing that off to somebody else, man, that's just, to me, that makes me smile thinking about that. And it's because I know like just knowing who you are, man, to sit in the position you're in and go through your daily process right now and soaking up every ounce of information. To me, that's really cool. Like I just sit back and I think about that. That's like the coach's dream, if you will. And I, Coach Dunn obviously was your coach for a long time. Guy we had on the show, as we mentioned to you before. And that guy, in my opinion, still to this day, still one of the best college football receiver coaches that probably college football's seen in a long time, if not ever, and people can say what they want about that, but I think the people that know probably know. And so on that note with him, what would you say is one or two of the top things that you learned and you took from Coach Dunn, as simple or as sophisticated as it might be?
You mean as far as like football or just?
Yeah, well, either if you want to drop something football on us and then non-football too. I mean, I know Coach Dunn
I'm sure there's a
had his
lot that you
ways.
could have learned from Coach Dunn
I,
in many different ways on and off the field.
I learned a lot from him. I'd say like off the field, it's probably just the standard that he holds yourself to. Like I mean, me coming in, he told, and also just like being straight up with you, like he told me coming in freshman year, you're not gonna play. He was not lying. I did not play, and then it's like he sees it before you do, so like he gets misunderstood because he is gonna try to get every possible thing out of you. So he held me to a standard that I didn't even hold myself to as far as like playing, and that is very frustrating. And so like day in and day out, he's gonna challenge you to like the goals that you set. He's gonna challenge you every single day to see like, okay, do these goals match what you are doing? Because I remember telling him when I got there, I was like, hey, like, because I grew up an OSU fan, so I watched DG, I watched Josh Stewart, I watched Josh Cooper, Justin Blackman, all these guys, that the most people wouldn't know. Like I knew these guys because I watched and I looked up to these guys, and these are people that I wanted to emulate, and I of course wanted to try to do it the same if not better. And so I told him that, and he said, you know, he's like, I think you can do it. And so from that point on, he kind of held me to that standard of like, if you're, loafing in practice, this is not what, they did, dropping balls, not being, on your P's and Q's in the, when we're taking notes and stuff like that. Like he'd held me to that standard. And that's something that I think most people say, but, it's hard enough when, someone else is holding you to that standard. And so that's the way that, he kind of helped shape me as far as like, not letting me, get away with like the little things as far as like, and so I hold myself to that same standard now. And it's something I'm truly grateful on as far as like most people, you would hate if someone was hard on you, but I love that he was hard on me. Now it took a couple years for me to get on the train of like, why are you yelling at me so much?
Yeah.
It took a couple
You're
years.
always picking on me.
Yeah, and we had talked about it too. It took a couple years, but I'm forever grateful. And as far as like football changes, it evolves. As far as like how defenses play, how offenses play, I truly think and I've told him this on multiple occasions. He needs to write a book on just how to get open, route running at its finest. Because the more things change, the more they stay the same. And the game, as far as getting open and just like route efficiency, I think he's one of the best at it. He's probably the best at it to me, as far as just the little things. As far as you don't need that much to get open. It's angles. It's it's everything involving the cut. It's all that stuff. So to me, he's probably the best dude at it, and he needs to write a book. Honestly, I'm so serious.
Well, we had a
I
little
agree with
segment
that.
with him where he talked about he hates all this little jiving and all this off the line. He's like, get your ass off the line. Just go. Like, you don't have time to dance and do all this other stuff. Get into your route so that you have 3 seconds. And if you're 4 or 5, 6 seconds, you're too late. So
He said,
yeah.
his thing as far as releases, to him, there's 3 releases. And he broke it down in pitch count. DG knows where I'm going with this.
And there's tons of coaches out there that know, because they've either clinic with Coach Dunn, and he doesn't hide that from anybody, or they've seen him do it at practice. Like, you're say it, BP. What are they?
You have a fastball,
Yep.
you have a curveball, and you have a changeup. And so he's like, if you're a pitcher on the mound, you're probably going to throw your fastball 6 out of 10 times, most of the time. You're not about to throw a changeup every single time. Then your curveball, that's something that you're going to use about 3, maybe 2 times out of 10. And then your changeup is, your specialty release, your favorite release, whatever, that you're going to go to 2 at a time. But you're not going to do your changeup 8 times and then your fastball just. So all about efficiency, just getting off the ball, getting to the spot, because the other thing, as far as moving up from high school to college to NFL, like I said, the players get better, they get smarter. And also, what people don't realize, the D-line gets better, and they get faster and get smarter.
Yeah.
And so
if your quarterback's on the ground, he can't throw you the ball, right?
One of the best things he ever said is, you are not beating the DB. You are trying to beat the D-line.
Yep.
And so once you think about that, as far as once you get up here, they are different. They are very different. So if you can't, like you said, if you cannot get into your route, if you're still juking at the line for 6 seconds and your quarterback's on the ground, play's over.
Yep. That's exactly what he
That's so
said
true.
too. Feels like it's a echo.
Oh yeah,
Because that's exactly what he said on the episode. He's like,
Yep.
man,
Yeah,
So,
and
no,
then
that's
between that and catching the football, I've never heard somebody put so much detail into how
Oh,
to catch a
did
football.
he talk about that with you guys?
oh yeah,
Not a
a little
ton, not a
bit, yeah.
ton. He did mention it. He mentioned it, and because I asked him, if you were to give advice to young receivers or young receiver coaches out there, what's the one thing you would tell them? And that's kind of where the whole thing that we just talked about got into a little bit. But one of his main things was to catch footballs and then
Oh,
learn
yeah.
how to catch a football. He talked about the clock, fingertips, and the blah blah blah, all the stuff, right? And the details within it is and it's unreal. And so that's where to me is because BP, this like I didn't catch football with my hands.
Yeah,
I didn't do that.
I mean-
That's the BCB. I'll let other people
You're-
figure out what the BCB
You were worried
means,
about
but
getting knocked out.
yeah, but BP knows what BCB is. But I said, hey, I was the king of it as long as the ball didn't hit the ground, right? That's
Yeah.
what mattered. That's like you've seen the Randy Moss 30 for 30 brand
Oh,
new.
yeah.
He said nowadays they teach everybody to catch the ball with your hands, do this, do that. Back in his day, they just told you don't let the ball hit the ground.
Yeah.
That was the motto I lived by, and I still struggle with that, unfortunately. But balls hit the ground too many times. But still, it was remarkable though when I actually finally started to learn from him and heard him talk about the details within catching the football. And kids take it so lightly these days, and it starts at such a fundamental base, if you will, I guess, a fundamental stage of keeping your eye on the football and using your fingertips and soft hands and all the stuff that goes in it. And where do you catch it at what position in your body and out away from your body? And you could be 6'4", but if you catch the ball close to your body, you're not 6'4", you're 5'10", you're 5'11", right? Like all those things. So it's unique. That was one of the things about you. You might be 5'4" or whatever you are, BP, but I'm playing, obviously. You're in that. What are you, 5'8"? What are we going to say
I'm gonna
today?
give myself 5'9". 5'9".
Okay, yeah.
Is that
we can
now? Is
go.
that the program? Is that the
Yeah, that's the
program height, or
program.
is that the real height?
It'll say 5'8", but you play the game with cleats on, so I'm gonna give me a
Listen,
All right.
Drew, if you just asked that question and you said, is that the program height or the real height? If he says anything other than that's the real height, like he just went on some explanation, it's not the real height.
Hey,
It's not the real
I'll
height.
I'll give him the cleats thing, right?
Yeah,
Because you play with cleats on, right, and a helmet.
Man, your cleats go deeper into the turf, man. That don't count. Get out of here, man.
No.
Hey, at
I'll
least here's
never-
what I'll say though. BP, he did what we just talked about though. He might be 5'8", but he's catching the ball away from his body. So he plays, and you do got kind of longer arms, right? And he plays like a 6'1" guy with the catch radius. So and
that is something that going from high school to college, I thought I could catch the ball like pretty well. I mean, I think my senior year I had like 97 catches. And I only dropped like 2 passes that I vividly remember that year because I put emphasis on catching the ball. So going from high school to college, I was confident in my catching abilities, and he honestly stripped all of my confidence away from getting there because, like DG just said, like as far as like how I was catching the ball. And now, like when you get in the game, of course, it's don't let the ball hit the ground. But
Yeah, you're just trying to make a play. Yeah.
He was so great at the details as far as, you don't want to platter catch. You don't want to have your hands served up like this because now, in his way, you have your hands served up like this, they're going to ricochet off your hands and they're going to get served up to the DB. That's how
on a platter.
Yeah.
And
He did talk about platter catching. That was his.
Getting served up on a platter.
If you were trying to platter catch like this, then that tells him you're not confident turning your hands over like this and being like he left hand dominant. I never heard of a left hand dominant catch until he pointed it out.
He mentioned that.
And now every single time I'm on the right side and I have to run an in route, I'm thinking about a left hand dominant catch.
Yeah.
And so like when we got there and he puts me on the jugs and he's like, "You suck at catching the ball." In my head, I'm like, I thought I was pretty good. And then he starts, get right here and try to catch like this. I drop it. Get right here, catch like this. I drop it. And you need a lot of work.
Yeah.
And so like it actually stripped my confidence. But it made me better in the long run. He talked about posing, not posing like when you're running through the football. Because, if you're running through the football, most receivers, and it actually changes the way I watch receiver play now, because if you ever see a receiver running an in route, if he's running straight down the line and he has to jump or he has to drift, that means you're not confident in your ball skills. That means you can't really run through the ball. If you're jumping, that means you're trying to let your eyes settle so you can see the ball and focus and not stay on the ground and run through it. And that's something that's really big here. As far as you watch Puka Nacua, I think he's the best in the world at staying grounded through the catch. He runs through catches, slants, everything. He keeps his feet grounded because for them, that's yak. If you can stay running through the ball and catch it and go in, well, that DB who's running full speed behind you, well, now you don't give him a chance to, make a play. Or if you're running a dig and that safety is standing at 12 yards and you can't run, either straight down at 10 yards or get a little bit negative and the quarterback throws that, well, now, that safety can come down and he can make a play if you were to drift on it. And that's how he can undercut it. And that's the other thing I said about angles. If you're not confident and you run a slant and you can't come straight down the line at 5 yards and you have to drift up, well, now that leaves more space and angle for that DB to undercut you and slip underneath.
Yeah.
That leaves, and also it helps with injuries too, which, I still feel like this day it helps. He's like, if you're running at a 45-degree angle this way and the safety is right here and he's running this way, that's a big collision.
That's a big collision right there.
But he said, if you're running this way or even this way and the safety's right here and he's trying to hit you that same way, either he's going to miss you or he's going to hit your back.
Yep.
And so he's like, there's so many advantages to staying flat and run through the ball that you never think about, but like DJ just said, he harps on it as far as fingertips, and that's literally something he broke down of me and was like, you have to get better. And so it was something that I prided myself on towards my junior and senior year, as far as not letting the ball hit the ground and actually extending my hands and being a hands catcher and playing, catching the ball. I mean, most people. Did you talk about drop stepping with the ball when you catch it?
We didn't get into that, no.
Okay, most people don't know what drop stepping is, but it helps with the drop step too. If you try to, BCB with the ball and turn, you can't get your feet set. So you have to catch the ball with your eyes and then get the transition. There's so many ways, and he's the best at breaking all that down in terms of advantages of catching the ball, being in the right spots. And one thing he told me was if you want to coach, he's the first drill, what was the first drill that you would teach your players? And I forgot what I said. I think I was running routes or catching the ball. He said, I would not hire you. I was he said, if you're a coach and you're interviewing, he said the first drill should be stance and start.
Yep.
How to get off the ball efficiently, not waste time at the line, not stepping under yourself and all this stuff. So he's really great at breaking down the game, making it very simpler than it has to be, but also taking the simpler things and dividing it into 13 different cycles of complexity.
Yep.
That's why DG's number was 13 at Oklahoma State, just for that reason right there, that circle. So
Baker's doesn't.
The complexity.
Right.
Baker's doesn't right there.
Yeah, man.
So
a little more complex, man. It's crazy. The knowledge that this guy dropped was awesome there for any young receivers out there listening, coaches, the amount of details that even were still left out of that conversation. Whew.
Well, and I'm going to ask you this too, going to the NFL, what has been the biggest adjustment? And you could probably talk about a little bit of that, but what's the biggest adjustment that you've seen either yourself or maybe a veteran player that like Puka Nacua you mentioned there? What has been the biggest adjustment that you've seen, or something that you've now even picked up as you've been in the NFL and are trying to, master or trying to get better at?
You mean from a football standpoint?
Yeah. Or even just meetings and stuff like that, or anything that, you've seen that these guys are doing.
I would say from a football standpoint, it is still processing, because there are so many, not just with our playbook, but with any playbook, there's so many conversions. There's so many, especially now in the league, there's so many disguises of coverages and stuff where the defense is literally trying to trick you in order to like run what they want to run. So it's, getting to the line, and because I mean, NFL has way better athletes. So it's like, hey, if I want to take this safety that's on the line of scrimmage and at the snap he runs back to a half, like, knowing that, or just like, get an understanding of like what defenses are trying to do. So the processing and stuff, like, the quarterback wants you on the same page as him. Now, of course, he's orchestrating this stuff, but it's like literally if you can't get out there, and that's even before the snap is even started, that's formation. Our first thing they told us when we got here, at least they put up on the board, if you don't know formations, you will not play. Said nothing about catching the ball, running around. If you don't know where to line up before the snap, you won't play. Because when they're in the huddle, and it was a hard adjustment for me, because at Oklahoma State everything is fast, it's one word, and usually in college you have hand signals. So I'm looking over there at hand signals all the time. I've never really gotten in the huddle and heard of like a full play call with the protection and everything.
Yeah.
So
give us. Hey, this is an interesting thing. Give us a play call if you can. One of your small. Give us a word, a whole play call for the NFL. Just something so people can understand the difference in sometimes hand signaling than it is.
I'll try to say one, because they are actually very hard. You can go.
Yeah. I'll say just give us your basic 2x2 with, and you're running stick or something like that. Something super basic, because it's still going to have more than what most people do.
Yep.
Oh, it'd be probably you can go South right clamp, F short, Z stick, cheddar.
There you go.
Yep.
And that's about as basic as it gets.
That's what I'm saying. I wanted people to understand that right there is a basic, and it just gets layered after that. So good luck.
Stuff just kind of. I mean, there's a clip of on YouTube of like Matthew, and like they're in the huddle and he's going through like McVay just saying like the play calls and stuff. Like it's very basic, but as far as like lining up, it's like because he's gonna say the formation and all that stuff. Like there's a whole list of things that he's going through in the huddle. And so if he says the formation and then like he's giving the protection in the play, if you're having trouble figuring out where you line up on this certain play, you're not even worried about the play. You're like by the time he breaks the huddle, you're like, hey, what's the play? What's the play? What's the play?
Yeah. You're like, I'm just trying to figure out if it's trips or if it's, if I'm over here or whatever it is. And then you kind of missed, like you just said, you missed the whole play call because you're just worried about getting lined up.
And I will say, like, for a younger guy, like for us, at least like an undrafted guy, it is very necessary for you to know every single position. So it's not, and that was the other thing I was going to say as far as like one thing I learned as far as like opportunities. It's not if you get an opportunity, is when you get an opportunity. And so if they do call trips, it's not, hey, we told you to come here and play F. Know what F is at. Somebody gets hurt. Hey, go in there at Z. Do you know Z? Well, now you're still in reps. Hey, our X is hurt. Do you know X? Now you can still reps at X. Everything as far as like on the cut. So when they say, hey, Brennan, go in there at, Z, and they call a formation, okay, where am I lined up? What am I doing? What's the, what's the goal of this play? What's the goal of this play? So it's just about knowing the entire concept. And then the more you like study the concept and know the concepts start to make sense with the formation. You're not going to run this from a tight set. You're not going to run this from, a wide set. This is more like, one of the plays that we call when everything's bunched up. And so that's the biggest thing I've told people, because when I first got here, they said, hey, you're going to learn slot. I played slot my whole career. Something happened. A couple people went down. Hey, it would be good for you to know Z. So I ended up playing Z more than I played F. I barely played F in my whole first year. And then I played the preseason games. I played Z, and then I could rotate. Like, hey, he's out, you go to F. In the huddle, like I'm going from Z to F. And then someone gets hurt, and they're like, hey, I'm the only one that knows X. Hey, you go to X. And so in one game, I'm playing Z, F, and X, and just rotating between people coming in and out. But it was great for me because I didn't have to come out the game.
Yeah.
And so
Another
it's
lesson right there for the young
and,
pups.
and I always and like my mom, she always said, like, if you're good, they're gonna find you. So it doesn't really matter.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
everybody here, and that's the other thing I realized too, is like I said, it's not if you get an opportunity, it's when you get an opportunity. And the last nugget of that is you never know when that opportunity is.
Mm.
Like I feel like in college, I can distinctly remember when we were playing TCU. I think my freshman year, Coach Dunn was like, "Hey, we're gonna give you this drive. We're gonna focus on these plays and like this drive." And I was like, "Okay, cool." That drive comes, and I did one play. We went 12 personnel the next play, and we go all the way down the field. And now we're in the red zone. We run 12 personnel the rest of the game. My one drive became one play. So that's the other thing of like college. They'll kind of tell you like, "Hey, this is going to be your shot." In the NFL, they won't tell you when your shot is. You'll just recognize it when it's happening. So that's the other thing I tell people all the time too. Is like you don't know when it's going to happen, and they won't tell you when it's happening. So you might go in there and think like, "Okay, I'm gonna, I messed up today, but I'm gonna get my shot," and then you might get cut, and you be like, "Whoa, that was your shot yesterday." Yep.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't have to tell you that. Like every time you're in there, this is the Super Bowl, this is that. So the opportunity part and just being ready, because they will just try to see what you know. They'll try to surprise you. Like there's no walking around holding your hand, because at the end of the day, everyone's fighting for a job and everyone's fighting for a spot.
That's for sure, man.
Hey, we'll
Man,
end
that's
it right
great
there
stuff.
on that, man. That is
Yeah,
incredible
man.
stuff right there.
That's
That is
great stuff. It's
if you're a
funny because,
young player, like I said, like DG just said, if you're a young player, this will probably be clipped on our YouTube or Instagram or whatever it is. Take this to heart, man. Just because you're a slot, just because you're a running back, just because you're this, your career could totally change. And like you just said, you were a slot your whole career in Oklahoma City, and then last year you said you barely played it. So
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Got to be ready for
right.
every situation. Don't
stay
think you're
ready.
above. Do not think you're above, because that's exactly what I thought. I was like, I'm a slot. I'm gonna play slot, and now I'm out here trying. I've never really got pressed in college, and now I'm out here trying to learn press at the hardest level. So
If there's one guy that can do it, that's you for sure.
Yeah, that's for damn
it's
sure.
gonna get done. It's gonna get done. But there's always more to learn.
It is getting done, man. BP, this has been awesome. Like it's been amazing, man. The knowledge you've dropped, and I can't wait to even go and share some of this stuff. And you brought up coaching points to me that I forgot about along the lines of just the simplicity of catching the football and routes and some of those things, man. It's a beautiful thing. And so we might have to catch up, man, because there's a lot of more questions we got to get to. We might have to do a part two.
Sure.
Let's do it.
We might have to do
If
a
you're
part
willing
two.
to. Yeah, if you're
Hey,
willing to
I've
come
got a
back,
couple-
man, we'll have part two.
I've got a couple fun questions for you. I've got one fun question. We'll try to end it with a little light
right.
stuff. But if you could catch a pass from any NFL quarterback in history, who would it be?
That is a tough one.
Past or present, it doesn't matter.
I'm gonna say Matthew Stafford.
Oh, there you go. Hey,
hopefully catch some passes this year.
Smart right there. Yeah,
Smart.
that was a trick question. He told me to ask you that. So. You never know, right?
Yeah.
That's smart, man. That's smart. That's good stuff. Well, yeah, man. We'll see about touching back, man, for an episode 2, because we got so much more between Drew and I. We had so much more we wanted to dive into. This hour went fast, man. I know we had some technical difficulties. Got it rolling here at the end. But man, we appreciate your time. We know you probably got studying to do, film to watch. You're out there on the West Coast right now, so you got a little more daylight than we got left here.
It's only 7. I got time.
Yeah, you got time. We're it's 9 o'clock here, but we're not trying to keep you all night, man. We want to go see you make that active roster this year, man, and watch you on Sundays. Hell, I say Sundays. I think I watched y'all's GM on TV today, and y'all are playing on Sundays and Mondays and Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays and Saturday. Y'all got like the most primetime games of anybody. Y'all are doing everything. So, man, that's a blessing, though, for you to be in the position you're in. Always one of my favorite things about you. I know I talked about you as a football player being tough and smart, but one of my favorite things about you personally is your humble spirit and your humble attitude towards everything, your willingness to always want and to get better. Man, if there's like between those 3 qualities, of being humble, being tough, and being smart, I know the smart aspect of it can be, there is a God-given ability to that. But I know a lot of that goes into how much you care and how much you study too. And guys may not be the smartest people in the world, but if you study, you put the time and effort into something you care about, man, like you can show how much it really means to you. And that means a lot towards your teammates too, at the end of the day, the guys you're playing alongside. So those things, man, are always some of the things I've respected most about you. Hell, your willingness to jump on here and do something like this with us, man, us small town folks getting on this right here and you hopping on and talking shop and dropping your knowledge with us, man. So we appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
My tweets, I mean them, man. You're a GOAT at Oklahoma State, that's for sure. You got records for a reason, and I know they feel the same way, obviously, at Bigsby, all your people back home, man. So
you're making the state of
I'm a
Oklahoma
small town
proud.
guy too.
Yeah,
that's right. You do, man. You make everybody in this state proud, that's for sure.
absolutely.
So.
Even us Sooner fans. So
even when you're running back kicks against them for big time plays, man, maybe we'll hit that next time.
that's all right.
Yeah, we'll hit that one next time. That's all right. We can let that go. So again, we appreciate you, BP, man. Hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully we can round up round 2, man. Maybe it'll be when you're on break. Get you out here, maybe run some routes. I'll put some clips up on you on here running some routes. Show these youngsters what they really need to see, man.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah, but no, hey, once again, thanks again for joining us, everybody out there. Please like, subscribe, follow the channel. We're growing. We have guys like this coming on, and we'll definitely get him on for part 2. But for our sponsors, for Coop Paint, Striping, and Sealing, and the Jeremy Hodge Auto Group, we will see you next time on the Huddle Up podcast. Thanks, and have a good night.